Hello everyone, Andy Schwab here with your Northern Ag TV. Well, we've had the opportunity to join the U.S. Cattlemen's Association's Cattle Producer Forum, and with that they had a great panel discussion talking about the Common Ground Summit and quite a few other conversations being had. With us now, Jenna Stanton, the Policy Director with the U.S. Cattlemen's Association out of D.C. And, with this Producers Forum today, we also heard that, the Common Ground Summit, one of the big things they wanted to get in there was some of these tax provisions that were beneficial for the producers, and now we saw the big beautiful bill passed right before 4th of July. What were some of the big wins that you saw from a U.S. Cattleman's standpoint?
Absolutely. Thanks, Andy. I think emergency assistance is a big deal. It's tough sometimes for agency folks to be able to roll that funding out the way that they need to. And so putting that in the legislation is absolutely huge for us. Same with livestock forage disaster programming, any sort of animal health measures when we have, screwworm and foot and mouth, always these different animal health concerns that come up every now and then, and making sure that the agencies and the staff and folks on the ground have what they need to be able to roll that out. And same on the tax deal. We talked to USCA members a lot and talking to them about letting them let us know what's going on, and that's number one for them, is making sure that their next generation has what they need to be able to keep the ranch in the family and keep these generational operations that have been in business for a long time, keep them going. So really appreciate the legislature's work on that for sure.
Absolutely. A lot of work that they've been doing. Speaking of some of the legislators and the congressmen, the senators that you guys work with quite often, we talk about the South Dakota representatives quite a bit, and they've come out with the Drive Act. Give us just kind of the highlights there.
Yeah, so the Drive Act is it's a speed limiter mandate on livestock haulers. So what our conversation a lot of times with these legislators is, there's other truckers in different industries that they have no limits on how many hours they can log and how much time they can spend on the road. But our livestock haulers, they're stuck. They have a lot more limitations on them, and really just opening up supply chain and an industry that's just grown and grown, and with herds being smaller, making sure that farm to table process is so much easier, and just taking off some of those more stringent restrictions, I think is huge for our guys.
Be a big help for all those that help out the industry for sure, as you mentioned. Of course, right now we're seeing the New World screwworm continue to inch its way north, starting to get pretty close to the U.S. border, it seems like. And, of course, a lot of the cattle from Mexico have now been halted from coming in. The live cattle imports from Mexico, of course, been put back on pause. U.S. Cattlemen's has been watching this closely and probably working with Secretary Rollins.
Yes. Absolutely, and we really so much gratitude to Secretary Rollins and her team. And this is the second time this year that the border's been closed and reopened and now closed again. U.S. Cattlemen's is very strongly supportive of keeping that border closed until the Mexican forces have everything in line, and they've really shown some results on their side of things. Giving them some autonomy and doing it their way, limiting it in Mexico, but making sure that we keep animal health, U.S. herd health is first priority. So super grateful to them, and working on there's some bills in the House that we've had some conversations with some Texas legislators, but I think with the Trump administration's really friendliness to the public-private partnership situation, we're looking to see some private partners who work on the genetic side of things, working on this sterile fly facility that they've just opened up in South Texas, and breaking ground on it. Hopefully it should be in operation full swing here soon, but having that private partnership it's just essential to make sure that the scientific community is fully aligned with our ranchers as well.
Absolutely. Another word that keeps kind of getting brought up around all these different cattle organizations is country of origin labeling. Give us just the latest that you guys are hearing with mandatory country of origin labeling.
Absolutely. So Senator Thune, Majority Leader right now in the Senate, he's the one championing this time around and has in the past, and just a wonderful team on his end. We really appreciate all their work on it. So his bill it will address the World Trade Organization concerns that have come up in the last repeal of the mandatory piece of things. And, we talk to a lot of our U.S. cattlemen's guys. They sell right from their farmsteads, and they know that what the consumers want, and the consumers want true the strongest beef supply in the world, and they want to know where their food comes from. And I think with this Make America Healthy Again movement that Secretary Kennedy has really championed, I think there's a huge opportunity for us and for folks on the ground, for ranchers all over of all sizes, to really capitalize on and advertise their beef as what it is. It's safe and it's healthy, and it's what the consumers want as well.
As we wrap up here too, of course, we mentioned we're here at the Producers Forum, but this is a chance for these producers of the U.S. Cattlemen to get their voice heard. How important is it for you guys to hear directly from these guys, and how importantly is it for the congressmen and the congresswomen to hear from them as well?
Absolutely. I think in an age of, social media and different voices and different organizations all over the place, it's so important for the legislators, especially in D.C., but at state and local level as well, to hear from their folks on the ground. And, our guys they're the ones who go through it. They see it every day. And so for me, this forum is huge because we get them all in one place and, cross-state issues. And there's folks in Texas dealing with the screwworm. There's folks in northern states that have totally different issues, and kind of getting them together, and they talk about how similar some of these issues are, and it really gives us good direction back in DC so that we know after this week where to go and where to head, and making sure that we are truly grassroots, completely independent, producer focused organization.
Once again, Jenna Stanton, the Policy Director with the U.S. Cattlemen's Association. Has this been brought to you by Burlington Northern, and a word from them as we wrap up here on your Northern Ag TV.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.